You're listening to the Really Very Crunchy podcast with your host, Emily.
And Jason.
I just said host, not hosts. Sorry.
See how you feel about that.
The S just stopped.
Yeah. Turning this into a one-person show, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you.
I feel me. Oh, you're going to have to carry this one today because I feel a little weird about this subject.
I was counting on you carrying it because you had the extremely strange upbringing. So you're definitely going to have to carry this one. I'll tell you my weird, which apparently is pretty weird since I got some messages that were like, okay, what you're telling me is that your family is extremely normal.
Your childhood was very normal.
The reason I said I got messages is I put a thing out on Instagram saying if you had a quirky upbringing or anything weird happened to you, not happened to you, but weird things from your childhood.
Yeah.
Tell me. And some people sent totally normal things.
Please tell us all of your traumas.
No, not like that.
We're talking weird upbringings today, and boy, I've got a doozy.
Yeah, Jason's sort of been on the fence about sharing some of this because he doesn't want to sound like he's tearing down his family or talking bad about his family because you don't feel that way.
No.
And your parents were like super strict in some ways, and they definitely lightened up and changed over the years.
Yeah.
So,
it's a weird subject for me because I actually look at my childhood with fondness for the most part. And my upbringing, I loved my parents. My parents, they're great people and just phenomenal people. I had what I would consider to be a very, and it's a recent discovery in my life, but a very, let's just nicely put it, unconventional upbringing.
well, I got a lot of messages from followers who kind of had a similar upbringing.
Okay.
But there's a certain niche of people.
Certain niche. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean exactly? What are you saying?
Well, your family wasn't like Duggar type family.
No.
But
I don't know anything
that's
about
a niche.
the
I don't
Duggars.
know anything about the Duggars
Everybody
either.
always talks about it, and the
I know.
people really like or really hate the Duggars.
Yeah,
I don't know anything
I don't know
about
anything about them either. I got a few messages saying they came from that type of upbringing.
They probably came from the Duggars because what I do know about them is that there's like 500 people in that family.
Anyway, what I'm saying is it's niche like that. So people have experienced your type of upbringing, though it wasn't a Duggar type of upbringing. But
That we know of.
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've been very pleased with the response we got on Instagram of everybody who sent in something.
Yeah, should we start with those?
Sure. I think
Okay.
it'll break the ice a little bit because I'm still like feeling a little nervous. Nothing crazy.
You're feeling nervous?
Yeah, because I really, really don't want to come across as negative because
You had a good childhood.
I had a good childhood.
Yeah.
I love my parents.
Okay, well, here's your blanket statement.
My blanket statement is that are there things I would have changed about my childhood if I could go back now?
Everyone would say yes.
Yeah. But I have to say, like, my parents were really great parents to
They
me.
were intentional
Yeah.
and they tried their best.
But man, there's some weird things that went on. Some weird
Okay, wait,
things.
do we want to dive into
Yeah,
yours?
no. That was my blanket statement. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. Let's
Okay,
go
let's
with
hear other people's
weird stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so this person said, both of my parents were police officers / detectives. We regularly discussed homicide and hostage negotiation techniques. Why can't I say the word negotiation? I was given a fingerprint kit, and the number one rule was no printing in the house.
Wow.
I grew up to be a crime scene investigator.
So it just runs
That's
in the
pretty
family.
cool. Like, that is kind of weird about your childhood to be discussing such dark things.
I think what's strangest about that is that, you have two people that kind of fall in the very, very same category.
Mm-hmm.
And then the kid goes that route too. That's interesting. That doesn't happen a lot.
Probably going to happen to our kids with the crunchies.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
They'll totally rebel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I could see them
you're
doing
right.
like
That doesn't,
video work or something.
That
makes
doesn't
sense.
happen a lot, though, that people who are in the same job marry each other. And then that's obviously going to drive a lot of your conversation.
That's an interesting one because it's always something new. There's always something going on, and it's always very dark, I'm sure.
So there are totally different kinds of parents. I feel like we kind of shelter our kids with the dark information because we don't want them to worry about stuff. I don't think they need the weight of the world. We keep them somewhat informed, but not about like heavy news. Like they didn't know about Trump's assassination attempt. And our kid was having this political conversation with another kid in the car. Jason was driving them and he decided to record it because it was so funny. But our kid was not that educated because we don't really talk about that kind of stuff around them. So when they were talking about it, the other little boy was like, the bullet grazed his ear. And our kid was like, I think it went in one ear and out the other ear because he was just making it up.
Well, that's what happens to me when I'm talking about politics. It just goes in one ear, out the other. So just like the assassination bullet. Sometimes talking about politics feels like an assassination bullet. So, I think one time he hypothesized that the bullet bounced off of him.
Yeah.
And just went to the ground.
Was, like, really stuck on that?
We haven't talked about ballistics very much either.
And we definitely didn't mention that. So I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. I can see this family being a family that just talks about everything.
Yeah.
When we would sort of be more hush hush. Like
I don't even think we're as hush hush as much as we're
not trying to be hush hush. We're just. I mean, I think from my childhood.
Let's go play.
Yeah, one of the things, like I've talked about in previous episodes, was that I kept hearing all this stuff about my mom's friend's murder. I mean,
that's a little different.
Well, I know. It's not like my parents were trying to. That just really affected our life.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of a couple years of my life.
Yeah.
And so I think I intentionally have not brought up dark and scary stuff.
That makes sense.
Because I just like don't want my kids to have that weight on them. I loved this one. My dad would call us to dinner for dinner and for bedtime using his bugle. It was so humiliating.
That's incredible. If I need to learn how to play the bugle.
That was actually part of my upbringing. My mom can whistle really loud. And it's funny because I married someone who can whistle really loud.
Yeah, you did.
And anytime we were out running around the neighborhood, riding bikes, whatever, even in a friend's house that was on our street, if she stepped out and whistled, we could hear her. And it was like, time to go. We could be at like a super crowded place. If she couldn't find us, she would just whistle super loud. And that meant like, come find me.
I've done it to our boys.
Yeah.
It works.
It works. It's amazing.
But it's not quite the bugle. However, I would amend this. I would like continue with that, but I would take it a step further. I would take that to like the mall. Can't find the kids? Yeah. They know when to come to the food court.
Yeah.
You know? It's time to go to Chick-fil-A,
Why are we
guys.
going to the mall?
I don't know. You said a crowded place. That was just what I was thinking of.
I was thinking like a basketball game. That's where we got whistled at.
Well, then it would get a little confusing because you have whistlers and
after
in the music.
Yeah. It worked.
Yeah.
We weren't all going to the mall.
I don't feel like you're following me here.
Okay, well, speaking of whistles, this one is so cute. Oh, wait, I didn't take a picture of it. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. My dad is an excellent whistler, and he assigned each of us 4 kids and my mom a different bird whistle. Think Von Trapp family from The Sound of Music, but less militant. If he needed to get our attention throughout the house, instead of calling our name, he whistled. If we were singing in a school concert, instead of clapping, he whistled. It quickly and effectively gets our attention. Every time I hear a chickadee, my mom's whistle, I briefly look around to see if my dad is nearby. He truly sounds identical to the real thing and can even whistle back and forth with them. My sister recently passed away, and now whenever I hear her bird whistle in the wild, I think of her.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that sweet? I really want to do that, but I'm a terrible whistler, but I would love to assign our boys with a bird.
So wait.
You whistled a bird tweet.
There's Oh.
Yeah, he's doing like bird calls.
So they all learn to whistle.
No. He would do a specific bird call for each child. So like the mom. The mom was a chickadee bird sound.
Oh.
So he would whistle like a chickadee to get her attention.
I get it. I thought
like,
they all had wooden whistles that sound, this is a chickadee
but
whistle.
After I read that, I was like, okay, I'm going to go on.
Do they have those?
Yes.
Specific bird?
Yes.
Like, oh.
Yes. I have totally
See, we could cheat and do that.
I know. It would be, and we could each have them. Then it would sound the same forever. It'd be like, Oaks, blow his whistle.
I don't know. Have you heard my barn owl?
I know.
Is it Bard?
Yes.
No, it's terrible.
No, it's not. It's amazing.
I will say this, like, as terrible as that display just was, I did that into the night and was talking with one.
I know. It was
amazing.
So cool.
We talked for like 20 minutes.
It was amazing. I was just in awe. I've never been more attracted to you.
Neither has that owl.
It was mating calls.
It was a mating call.
Oh man.
That's all we talked about. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
Okay, let me read just a couple more.
No, I mean,
then
we can keep going so we don't have to talk about ourselves.
This one made me laugh so hard.
Okay.
Dinner towel. We all shared a towel to wipe our hands and face at dinner. No paper towels, no individual napkins, one family towel. When I met my husband, he was so grossed out. Looking back, I'm like, yeah, that was pretty weird.
Oh
my goodness, that's us. We don't have paper towels. We use cloth napkins, but half the time we don't have many cloth napkins.
Usually there's one cloth
I
napkin.
know, whatever. So, well, I'm saying in our basket, I'm always running out. So it's like we have one or two towels. So most of the time, pretty much every time, we've never set the table where everybody has their own napkin unless guests come over. That's what I'm thinking. We just use one family towel. We don't call it the family towel. We just grab a towel and take it to the table.
We do that for showers too. No. So
that's not weird. There's plenty of clean room on a napkin.
Here's what just came to my head though.
What?
I mean, I can't remember specific incidents, but I know it's happened. There have been plenty of times I've used Oaks or Alder's napkin when we've had company over. Like, I just use whoever's napkin was near me.
Well, that's how my dad is. My family uses paper napkins, but my dad will just take whoever's napkin and use it. And so I've never thought that was weird. I mean, you're just wiping your mouth.
But I could see, like, if that's just not some way, the way you were brought up, you see me grab Oaks's napkin because I don't know where mine is and just start wiping my mouth with it. Somebody might think that's disgusting. I don't know.
I mean, the only time we have separate napkins is if guests are over. So I guess in my heart, I know that it's weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it seems perfectly normal to me. You only need one napkin, one dish towel, whatever.
It's very conscientious.
That's what so our kids are going to grow up and send an Instagram message to some random stranger saying what was really weird about your childhood. And that was not the only thing that people said. No, so many times I got messages and one was, my mom never matched socks. She just threw them all in a basket. Yeah.
Whoopsie.
So like that, I totally understand that logic. Who wants to waste the time matching socks? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to throw them all in a basket, put it in the closet, help yourself.
Yeah. It's a time saver. My first question I have is, doesn't everyone think they have a weird upbringing? Doesn't everyone? There's the rare exception where now the child, they grow up and they are as weird as their parents, and everything about their upbringing they loved. Everything about their upbringing.
You and I are thinking of the same.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we
now.
are. Yeah, we are. And they live their entire life just in this perfect unity with their parents. And I'm always jealous of that, but at the same time, maybe they're all weirdos.
Like you didn't notice the weirdness from your family.
You just never noticed it.
You just never noticed it.
You just embraced it.
You are not self-aware.
Yeah, but then there's also the people who.
But here I am with the family towel. So
Yeah, we have, yeah. But I admire those people. I admire those families. I'm like, oh man, that would have been nice.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Cool. How can we make our kids weird so that they
just
love us forever?
Yeah, and just.
I don't know. I'm jealous of those people, but at the same time, I wonder where the awareness level is in their brains.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, Oaks calls me weird and crazy all the time. So
yeah, he's learning early.
Yeah.
But there are the people too that who messaged you. There's a couple where it's like clearly you didn't have a weird childhood.
Yeah. It's like.
Do you have an example?
Well, I don't want to say it if they're listening to the podcast and then.
Well, we're not saying we're saying that they're not weird. Well, they're like, my mother used to chew bubble gum, and she would put it in the wrapper and throw it away.
Yep, just about that weird. It was like,
you're the weird one.
Hey.
You're the weird one.
No,
you had perfectly normal parents, and you're just the weird child.
Okay, but. There was this one. This one was really funny. The mom decided for an entire school year that she was going to eat meals backwards. So they would have dinner for breakfast and then breakfast for dinner. And she said it was okay. Her mom would get up in the middle of the night and make dinner, get it in the oven so that it would be ready when they would wake up. I guess not the middle of the night, but super early morning. And then she would go back to bed while it was baking or whatever. And then be like, meat and a side and a salad for breakfast. And she said that was fine. That was great. It was eating oatmeal at 5 p.m. That was really hard to do.
Did she give a reason?
It was some sort of health thing.
Okay. I mean, I could see like
breakfast
front
like
loading,
a king.
Getting the big meal at the beginning. And I guess, yeah.
You could just eat a big breakfast.
Dinner, Pop-Tarts. Okay, our kids would love that.
Yeah.
If they ever had one.
I can make them my hand pies.
Hand pies.
You said it tastes just like a Pop-Tart.
That was fiction. It was better.
I know.
Better.
It was way
a lot better. Aren't we all just wired to think that some aspect of our upbringing is just strange? I mean, I feel like everybody, that's kind of what I was getting at earlier. Everybody feels like at some point that their parents were weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't everybody feel that? It's just like, that's just part of growing up, is that you think your parents about some things are weird.
Which I was thinking the wrong things. Like, I thought it was weird that my dad always fell asleep in a movie. But he was so tired. I mean, he got up at like 2 a.m.
Oh, well, that's just perspective.
Yeah.
It's like you're not thinking about how hard your parents work or the things that they're going through.
He could not stay awake through a movie. Never once in my entire life have I ever seen him stay awake through an entire movie.
Yeah.
Not once.
But his jobs were crazy. Like,
yeah. So, and he would turn on a movie so that we would all like sit down and be quiet and he could just go to sleep.
It's time for me to go to sleep.
But it didn't bother me, the fact that we made up this thing. We would say, have a dog, D-O-G, Day of God.
Mm-hmm.
But then like we shortened it even more. So instead of saying have a dog, we would just bark at each other and howl. Like anytime he dropped me off, we were just like, woof, woof, woof. Oh, woof, woof, woof,
with people around?
Yeah, like anywhere, like through high school.
Wow.
I was barking at him.
So you didn't feel weird about it at all? Okay.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that's our thing. Have a dog.
You could see now that
maybe the kids in middle school weren't making fun of me because I was poorer than them. It was because I was howling.
Because you were barking at your father
every time. Yeah. Everything makes sense now.
I feel like you just had a moment.
Yeah. Little breakthrough there.
Yeah, I think that would get it started. First day of school. Hey, Dad, see you later. Yeah, she's sitting alone at lunch.
Yeah, it was our thing though. Have a dog.
Oh, that's great. I'm sure your dad loved it. It's probably really special to him. It's special to you because you thought it was great.
Yeah. One thing that also, like, this isn't weird at all. It's just cute that my family does. Anytime we're leaving, we do the sign language for I love you.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just a sweet thing. And we've always done it. And now we do it with our kids. And
gosh, you are psychos.
Weirdos.
Such a weird family.
No, I have other weird things. I'm ready to share, but you go ahead.
Well, no, yeah. Well, I sort of lived two different types of childhoods.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the youngest of three, and parents were in a different phase of life, childhood, to my brother and sister were, 4 and 6 years older than me, to where I was the only child from like half of middle school till the end of high school. I was the only child with parents who were in a very different place in life. Like there's a drastic change that happened around middle school with my entire family. And so pre-change, a little bit weirder, post-change, weird but less weird.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was a pastor, and my mom, for the most part, stayed at home. In the early days, she worked. Not that matters, but where would you like to start? I need a question or something.
Okay,
can you feed me a question?
Yeah, I remember.
I could go into my whole life story here, but I don't. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee.
I just want to jump to mixed bathing. Like that is just so weird.
Why do you have to jump to that?
It just like when we were first dating, you told me that you weren't allowed. Not at this time.
Emily, I know I'm 21, but I can't go swimming with you.
No.
Do you have culottes?
In your childhood, you weren't allowed to swim with women or girls because that was called mixed bathing. You were like, that's mixed bathing.
Well, I didn't say it. I said it was called that. I didn't call it that on my own.
When you swim with someone of the opposite sex.
Yes.
Like, I went to I was raised religious and we were expected to wear a one piece.
Yeah.
But you're talking about your family like swimming in jeans of only the same sex.
Sorta. Not. I don't really remember anybody having to swim in jeans.
Culottes.
Yeah. I think the problem was like you can't. Listen, I get where they were coming from because they're trying to protect their kids, whatever. I think it was more so you can't go swimming with people we don't know about. Like you could go swimming if everyone was decent and not half naked.
Mm-hmm.
But like if they didn't know who you were going swimming with, you can't. That's mixed bathing. Which I think the term mixed bathing is probably more of, it's very old school, very southern somewhere.
Sounds like it.
Because to me, it's weird because like we're not taking a bath together.
We're swimming.
Yeah. Like, there's no shampoo involved. So, yeah, I mean, that was a weird one, but that one also didn't affect me that much.
You got to go swimming as a child?
Yeah, because I mean, most of the time it was like in a lake or something. I think it probably...
You could mix bathe in a lake.
Oh, well, depends on who it was with and what family we were with. With certain families,
know there was
you could.
Selective mixed bathing.
Yes, because you could trust these people to be decently clothed. They were wearing culottes and things in the lake.
Okay,
really heavy clothing, so it's really hard to get out if the current takes you out.
You guys didn't really wear shorts.
Yeah, we did. I wore shorts. I was a shorts. However,
I remember you saying like your sister wasn't allowed to wear shorts, maybe, or there was something about shorts, and then your mom like was radical in the later days wearing Bermuda shorts.
I see. You're talking about things that I'm not even that aware of. Now, my sister and brother,
they experienced.
They had a very different perspective and view of. I don't remember so much of it. I don't remember so much. So I'm sure my sister's perspective very different than mine. My brother's perspective very different than mine.
Mm-hmm. Certainly not allowed to go to a dance or anything like that.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
However, I will say back to the shorts thing. I was allowed to wear shorts. Like we were allowed to wear shorts. That wasn't a thing. That was fine. especially because we lived in Mississippi for a part of my childhood. But I did go to a summer camp. So this is the type of place I would be sent to. I went to a summer camp where they didn't allow anyone to wear shorts.
Okay, maybe that's the story I'm thinking.
That's my story. I had to wear jeans at a summer camp. And it wasn't a safety thing, like we're afraid of ticks or copperheads. It's like, no. You got to wear pants.
Yeah.
And I don't think there was even
any ankles or
swimming or anything.
What's this?
A calf?
Couldn't think of it.
The other part of your leg?
What is that word? Oh, that's embarrassing.
I mean, and I don't want to make fun because modesty is important. And I think
it's important to us.
That's a very important thing. However, I don't fully understand, and I never have been able to grasp the idea of, I will even just say this, 10-year-old boy not being allowed to wear shorts, which that wasn't my parents' rule. But they sent me to that camp.
Yeah.
I was still sent there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
Speaking of camps, you guys did not go on vacation.
Oh, man. Okay. All right.
I was going to say, my family didn't vacation that often because we just didn't really have the means to do it regularly. But your trips.
Okay. Well, so some of you out there will know what this is, and many of you will not, but we went to what you call camp meetings. And I mean, there's people listening to this right now that I know personally that still go to camp meetings and are part of camp meetings. It is all day, all week, preaching. Various denominations have it. But yeah, they're usually like a week long where various pastors and their families and stuff gather and they preach all day, every day. It's not usually themed that I know of.
Is it
and there's other things that go on.
Revival?
No, that's a different thing.
That's a different thing.
Yeah. Why'd you say it with that twang? I don't understand.
I don't know. Anytime I see it, it's like,
well,
it's a revival.
I mean, when if you actually hear anybody use the word revival in the religious sense, it's always revival. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why I said it.
Yeah, I get it. So anyway, camp meetings, that was our vacation. Mm-hmm. If we went somewhere, we went on, I think, one vacation.
After your brother and sister were already out of the house.
That was, it was like my junior or senior year of high school. We went on one vacation that didn't involve camp meetings.
It was to the beach.
Yeah.
Did your family get in the ocean? Was it mixed bathing?
Okay, get off the mixed bathing. I don't even remember. I sat and read the 5th Harry Potter book the whole time, which I was allowed to read Harry Potter, so that was cool. A lot of parents in that group weren't letting their kids.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, and I think it was probably because my mom really liked stuff like that.
So she's like, I'm drawing the line here. We're doing Harry
Entertainment's
Potter.
Its own thing. I'll get into entertainment here in just a minute, okay? But so back to vacation. We would always go to these camp meetings. And listen, I still have friends from that era. I still have very...
Stop with the blanket statements.
No, I have to because some of them listen, and I don't want them to think that I'm saying bad things about them because they're very good people. And,
you're not saying anything bad about the camp meetings. You're just saying your family didn't go on vacation. You just went to camp meetings. And that's hard
can I tell you something, though?
Because you'd just be expected to sit there all day.
Let me tell you something.
And especially not act out because you're the preacher's son.
They're all the preacher's sons. So... At a camp meeting, they're all the preachers.
Keeping up with the Joneses. Pastor Jones, that is. No, Brother Jones.
Brother Jones.
Sorry.
Not Pastor Jones. Brother Jones. What are you talking about? So that's the thing that I want to kind of iterate there is that camp meetings for a child is a really weird thing. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
And hard.
Boring. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm talking 6, 7 years old. Mm-hmm. It's boring. borderline awful.
Your parents didn't bring a sticker book?
Oh, I had sticker books, coloring books.
Oh, you
but
did?
It's a week long, Emily. It's a week. It's really cool because you get to see some of your friends like once or twice a year.
Uh-huh.
But most of the time you're listening to people singing and shouting and preaching for hours and hours and hours. You could go to the hotel swimming pool, mixed bathing, but we're all in the same boat for the most part. But some of them wouldn't. So, because they didn't know us that well.
You guys went to the hotel swimming pool?
Days in.
Wow.
Okay,
I thought there was like a hard and fast no mixed bathing rule.
No. It's
your
more,
childhood wasn't even that weird, Jason.
Let's talk entertainment. All right. And again, I don't want to put my dad in a bad light or anything, but it's just the choices are weird.
We are super strict with our entertainment for our kids, so are they going to have this conversation? But our choices are more like we just want to keep it simple, and we just don't want that much screen time.
Have you ever seen The Last of the Mohicans?
Only because of you.
Yeah, great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Came out in 1990 or 92. I'm not sure which. I would say for the time, pretty violent.
Rated R.
It was rated R. I think it would hit a PG-13 these days. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I don't know. But rated R. Rips the guy's heart out. You know, some pretty rough stuff. Scalping. You know. Mm-hmm. I'm 5 years old. My dad loves this movie. Mm-hmm. He loves this movie. I am allowed to watch it. And we watched that movie together. I'm enthralled. I love it. I think it's incredible. I love seeing the Indians fighting each other, just like, you know, hatchets. Go Daniel Day-Lewis is Hawkeye's going around with his musket, shooting people all over the place. It's incredible. They did cover my eyes when they were kissing, though. However... yeah, I do remember that. I was on the couch with him, and I just remember he put his hand over my eyes, and they had a kissing scene. Anyway, fast forward 10 years, I'm not allowed to go see Mission Impossible 2 with my friend because it has, drum roll please, one S word in it. Mm-hmm. And we don't talk like that in this family. I'm allowed to see something incredibly violent for the time, and it's historical, and I get it. But like, there's a little bit of weirdness in a lot of 90s Christian families. They're very, very, very into historical, violent movies. Mm-hmm. The language, though, you get into language. There's almost a zero tolerance. Mm-hmm. And I get it if you have kids who are going to go around repeating it and stuff, but I don't flinch at language like a lot of people, or like a lot of people in my past really did. Mm-hmm. But that was a big no.
I remember whenever we were married, we watched The Hunger Games with your family, and your dad made a comment about the language in the Hunger Games. And so, like, it was still sensitive to him, even as you're an adult. You've gone to university. You obviously know all the words.
I know all the words.
So, for him to even, he was just mad about it. He's like, why is this in here? You know?
Well, I mean, I get
it. Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
Well, anyway.
He was fired up a little.
Yeah.
So speaking of language, your family would watch some shows as long as you had your TV guardian on, right?
Didn't we have somebody comment?
Someone else said that they had a TV guardian, and I was like, "Oh, Jason had one of those."
For all two of you out there who had a TV guardian back in the day, it was a fun time.
Tell people what it was. It
TV
beeped
guardian.
out.
It would. I think it would read through the subtitles. It could get the closed caption from a TV show or a movie.
This is high tech.
I guess, and it would pick up on what it's certain words. It would just automatically mute your TV, but then it would bring up replacements, and they weren't usually very good replacements. Like, you son, like they like it would come up and like, you bumblebee, or something like
really?
that. It would replace it. It wouldn't even just bleep it. I wish there was like a setting, just, but that was when it worked.
Uh-huh. Sometimes it didn't work.
Yeah. You're watching a movie, think your TV Guardians are doing great, and all of a sudden like 20 F-bombs come in and
what?
I guess the TV Guardian's glitching. Turn it off. Well, anyway.
Do you want to talk about my family for a little bit? Give your family a break.
Oh, give my family a break. Oh man, please.
They weren't really. I mean, we haven't. It hasn't been so bad. Well, both of my parents had really weird upbringings. I'm not going to go into their stories, except my mom has this one funny story that she tells. They didn't have a lot of money, 9 kids. They used to go to this donut shop called Winchell's Donuts and dumpster dive for
nice.
the like thrown out donuts. They wouldn't like dig for them. They were, kind of on top in a box. So it's not like she's getting trash touch donuts, but they were from the trash.
Yeah.
That was like super fun. When I was asking her like, what are the details about the story that you always tell? And she was like, I specifically remember a bear claw. Just this fond memory of this bear claw from the dumpster.
So her love of apple fritters didn't come from the dumpster then?
Maybe not.
Oh.
I mean, it
could have.
Yeah.
It could have.
It could have. She does love an apple fritter.
Yeah.
That's another thing about my family. Anytime we took a trip, anytime we went anywhere in the car, we had snacks. Like so many snacks. We would go from Paducah to Bowling Green, which is 2.5 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
So many snacks.
Well, that's an event. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't travel that much. We did go to Bowling Green. So
she did call you today about
yeah. So we're going to Chicago this week. If you happen to be in the Chicago area, when you hear this, on Thursday, the 9th.
Tomorrow, if you're listening to this,
we're doing a book signing at the Highland Park Naturepedic store. So you can come and say hi, get your book signed. They're giving away 50 free copies and
a chance to win
an organic EOS pillow top Naturepedic mattress.
This is a very natural ad read.
I know.
You just threw in there.
I wasn't,
wow.
but
that man.
That's our mattress. It's amazing. Anyway, so my mom's going with us to watch the boys while we go to the book signing. And she called me today and she was like, so Emily, have you thought about the snacks?
I mean, that's a long trip. That's 6 hours. And then we're heading up to Michigan. So we got a lot of snacks.
Like, there must be snacks.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of talking about it. And I was like, well, you can make some cookies. She makes really delicious cookies. I was like, I could make something. I'll come up with something. And then she's like, well, I'm at Sam's Club. I could grab some stuff. I said, nah, don't worry about it. I'll get it. Anyway, she did buy a couple things. So we're gonna be ready on the snack front.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Personally.
I spent a lot of time of my childhood in the back of a restaurant because my mom was a manager.
Yeah.
At one point, my dad worked there as well. And I'm not really sure why I was there. Sometimes I went to a sitter, but I spent quite a bit of time there. So
it's a different kind of life, kid.
Growing up in the back of a restaurant.
That's where I learned to chain smoke. With Cindy.
I mean, there are some shady characters that work in the hospitality.
The restaurant business can get a little crazy.
It can. But there was this one lady, June. She made the rolls and all the desserts. She would give me like a big hunk of dough to play with. And I love
That's where you get it.
I love eating dough.
So disgusting.
I love it.
You passed it on to our kids.
I know. I love it. Any kind of dough. Dough, batter, anything. I'm talking bread dough, pizza dough. It doesn't have to be a sweet dough. Like cookie dough isn't a given.
I mean, cookie dough.
Yeah.
That's its own.
No, I'm not even talking about that.
Okay.
Talking about
bread dough. Yeah, Oaks will come up to me like with a handful of dough, like, Dad, you want some? And I'm like, get your hand out of my face. That's disgusting.
I'll like stick my finger in my sourdough starter and just lick it.
Gross.
Because I just like it. I don't know. I just like it. I'm sorry. But that's where it
Call
came
me
from,
when
probably.
it's baked.
I know. So I would eat that dough, and I would also take it in.
Song title, by the way.
I would eat that
Call
dough.
me when it's baked.
Oh. I'd take it in the freezer, throw it to the top of the freezer, let it fall down, throw it up,
Wait,
and then
what?
take a bite. Yeah.
Ew.
Throw it up to the roof, let it fall down.
To the ground?
No, in my hands. I'd catch it. Throw it up, catch it. It's a freezer.
Eat it?
Yeah.
You're disgusting.
What? I mean, we do have a family towel because of me. So apparently I am.
Oh, man. We have to rethink some things right now.
I know. No, I love dough. And I think part of that. And when I was really young, I started like bargaining with God very young because I would get lost or I couldn't find my mom at the restaurant. I was allowed to like roam in the dining room.
This got deep. Like, what are you talking about?
So I'd be like, God, in 3 seconds, let my mom walk around the corner and I'll do anything. Like making these like promises.
See, that's just you that being weird. I don't think that's your parents or your family. You're just weird.
So then I'd be like, 1, 2, 3. It almost always worked.
Don't you think you were anticipating her walking around? And
No,
then
I mean, maybe, but
well, what did you do? What did you hold up your end?
I don't know. I was making some pretty intense bargains
You
with
better
God.
start thinking because
I know.
you know.
I know.
You're
time's
halfway
ticking.
there.
I know. So
Not halfway.
anyway,
Less than halfway.
that happened a lot. And then my dad. So my dad always worked these strange jobs where he had to get up super early and deliver bread to grocery stores or pizza or Keebler cookies or whatever. He was into that.
Mm-hmm.
He had a route. And so sometimes he would let us go with him on his route. Like
At like 2 a.m.
yeah, he would wake us up. One of the kids.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it always felt like I get to go with my dad to work.
Wow.
But then you're at the grocery store at 3 a.m. before anybody's there. So weird, just strange. Like as a kid, helping your dad stock the grocery store shelves. And he like promised I was actually super helpful.
Yeah.
We could get his route down super quick. And I would say that I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved going with him. He would always barter with the other delivery guys. Like, hey, if you give me this, I'll give you that, So I'd get to try whatever I wanted, whoever was working. There was also like in the back of the grocery store, damaged goods sometimes, and you could take that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, a lot of things are much cooler when you're not the actual customer. You get on the other side of things.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
I loved it.
The damaged goods. I know a little bit about that.
I know that like when he worked DiGiorno, he had to take the damaged pizza boxes back onto his truck and like catalog it out. I don't know.
How many DiGiornos have you eaten in your lifetime?
So
if you had said to
many.
guess.
That's I like almost refuse to eat frozen pizza because
almost you're the crunchy mom. Come on.
I know. But it's not just the crunchiness. It's because I was so worn out on it, just so tired of DiGiorno pizza. But yeah, so I remember one time he was so tired. He pulled over on the side of the interstate in between stops once, and he was like closing his eyes in the car, and I was trying to sleep. But when when a semi truck goes by and it shakes your whole car,
there's a rest stop, but there's got to be an exit like within 5 miles.
I don't know. But then the cops pulled up.
Oh,
and they thought maybe I was getting trafficked.
Yeah.
And they like separated us and asked me these questions. It was kind of intense.
How many DiGiornos did you actually eat?
It's sad that that's a reality, but it was like kind of funny.
It's good that they did that.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
But they let us go and it was good. We never pulled over for a nap like that again. I feel like my childhood was pretty normal.
Sounds pretty adventurous to me.
Yeah, getting to do the adult things. Like sometimes at the restaurant, one of the waitresses would be super nice and let me help her wait the tables.
That's fun.
Yeah, I'd get to take the drinks and then she'd like give me $1 from the tip.
You were on a commercial.
Yeah.
For that restaurant.
Okay, well, actually,
radio commercial, right?
Not not really. My brother got to be on the commercial. And then they asked me if I wanted to just read for fun. So then there was a different girl who did the girl's voice. And so when I heard the radio commercial, I just pretended like it was me.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They didn't want your voice?
No.
Really?
I don't know. They had already asked her.
I thought your whole family was on it.
No, that was a TV commercial.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought this was like Market House 2.0. Market House Theater.
Oh. Well, no. On the TV commercial, we were all in it, except the only person who had speaking parts were my mom and my littlest brother, or my little brother at the time. Not my littlest brother, sorry. My brother, who was 2 at the time, he said, I like the pie.
Mm-hmm.
And
were you jealous?
Not
because
really.
You didn't get the speaking part?
No, I was upset because the shot that they put of me, I was like taking a giant bite and it was not flattering at all. People would recognize my brother out at Walmart. They're like, hey, he's the I like the pie kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So I interrupted you sort of to
like 20 minutes ago.
Talk about me. No, I was giving you a break.
It.
I was giving you a break.
A much needed one.
So
we weren't quite done with entertainment.
Back to entertainment.
Yeah. Rock and roll was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my parents came out of an era where the hippies were very antithetical. Is that the right word? To their beliefs, and out of the hippie movement came some really great rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
So any kind of rock and roll, anything with a heavy guitar, anything with big beats, it was not good. Quartets were good, not string quartets. We're talking, Gaither vocal band type of music. That's A-okay.
Saying Gaither vocal band doesn't mean anything to anybody.
It means something to somebody out there. But just like gospel, but like country gospel music was cool for them. You
guys like crank that up in the car?
Sometimes that and talk radio. Yeah. I always wanted it to be talk radio. So it wouldn't have to listen to country gospel music.
Yeah. So my mom was friends with someone in a country gospel band, and we went to their show. I kind of liked it.
Yeah, there's different flavors.
Mm-hmm.
If you get into more folk, it can get a little more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's just not very fun at all. Or easy listening. That was okay. As long as it wasn't too jazzy.
You were in high school. You used to listen to rock and roll behind your parents' back.
Yeah.
Especially... Does Evanescence count? You loved Evanescence.
That was I loved that album. Okay, the rest of the stuff I have no idea. But
but then you would turn your car on to talk radio.
Okay, you can't just say Evanescence. No, that was any song, any radio. Like it was. So yeah, I mean, I was really into Christian rock music.
And you were embarrassed to even let them hear Christian rock music.
Not embarrassed.
Scared.
Not scared even. Just more so, I don't want to have this conversation. I don't want to talk about, by that point, they weren't even really saying anything. Mm-hmm. It was more so, I don't want to have to hear about it. That music's no good. Whatever. I don't know. And I'm like, there shouldn't be a vendetta against ska.
Mm-hmm. OC Supertones.
I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. But they didn't. I mean, it got better. But I'm sure they wouldn't have appreciated my liking for POD or something like that, of that nature. Again.
Meanwhile, while I was in high school, my parents were like, oh, you want to go to a POD concert 4 hours away with some guy driving? Sure, honey.
You went to a POD concert?
Yeah.
Oh, lucky.
POD, Linkin Park, Hoopastank. See, I didn't know any of the songs.
See, I would have known them.
Yeah.
I did. That's what's funny. I knew the songs. Your parents are encouraging you to go to those concerts and stuff. You're like, I don't know any of these songs. These aren't Backstreet Boys. And
is not who I was listening to at that time.
Ooh, Hoobastank's more than Reason. They have really good songs, or they did. I don't really really listen to them anymore.
The Reason was the only song that I knew.
Because that was the most popular. They had some pretty rockin' stuff.
Well,
yeah.
Anyway, I can't believe you were like Backstreet Boys. Dashboard.
Oh, well,
Dashboard Confessionals. Like,
Gosh.
that's all I listened
Gag
to.
me.
I love that whiny...
Acoustic wine.
It is my favorite kind of music.
It's my acoustic wine hour. WHINE.
Yeah.
I believe.
I love it. I still love it. So every family has their weird thing.
Yeah.
A lot of responses I got were parents like telling their kids one thing was a different thing. Like, for example, a lot of families don't like the word FART.
Mm-hmm.
And so they come up with a different word, and then the kids grow up their whole life thinking that is the word for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like shocked when they get to college that not everybody calls it that.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of the weird.
I feel like that's going to be our kids with a lot of words.
Really?
Maybe. No, I don't know.
Do we make up a lot of words?
No, I guess we haven't yet, but.
We're not the type to lie to our kids either. Like, there was somebody who said when they went to the grocery store, remember they used to have those sample things where you could like get a cookie and you had to slide it open.
I think so.
At the grocery store.
Yeah.
Well, her mom told them that it was voice activated, so it could only open if they said please, and then it could only close if they said thank you. And she thought her whole life that those were voice activated.
Wow.
But her mom was just waiting.
See, that's not weird. That's smart.
Yeah, so a lot of parents have, like, I got several messages. There was this one mom and dad who taught their daughter to massage their feet while they read aloud. And the daughter was super into it. It's like...
That's genius.
That's genius.
It's absolutely genius.
So smart. I have a friend who has her kid brush her hair. And she like sets a timer for it. She's like, I just like my hairbrush. It feels good. It feels so good.
That's amazing.
Why haven't I done that? There was another one, though, that was like, my mom used to write down all the documentaries and National Geographics that we were allowed to check out from the library. But we would have to read so much before we could do that. And I'm like, I make our kid read before he's allowed to listen to an audiobook.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. What do you think our kids, like you just touched on it, what do you think our kids are going to say is weird about us one day?
Probably like, they're not, like I've said before, they're not upset that they can't have dyes, but they'll probably say that was weird. They'll probably talk about the family towel.
I think
I just now realized is weird.
They'll probably talk about us always being around each other. Like I think they'll because I work from home and you are home. Obviously, we're all home.
They homeschool, like we're all just together.
I think
all
they
the
might think that that's how everybody is, and I think their minds are gonna be blown one day when they realize that a lot of parents work at separate places, kids go to school at different places. And
I just heard someone say like the amount of time that the average child is getting with their parents face to face if you take out bath time and dinner time is 35 minutes a day.
That's insane because ours is like
12
hours.
I mean, okay, if you take out bath time, which doesn't happen that often, dinner time every night.
That's what you're going to say. We never bathe.
Like somebody else messaged that.
Month.
They were like, my mom, we'd be playing in the yard all day and my mom would have us come in and just wash our feet in the bathtub. We didn't take a bath. We just washed our feet. I'm like, totally understand that logic.
I get that.
I get that. She's saving your skin's microbiome.
Yeah.
We probably need to bathe our kids more.
They don't smell bad.
No, they look great.
Yeah.
They're never visibly dirty. Sometimes their clothes are, but that's just kids.
I think most of the weird upbringings that we talk about, I don't think it's necessarily, obviously it's because, I mean, it does come from a place of being weird in a way, in a certain way. But at the end of the day, I do think it all stems from love. I think my parents were always trying to do what they truly thought was best for their children. And, you know, as a 37-year-old, I look back on some of their parenting choices, and I think that is very strange. It's a very different it's a very different upbringing than, and they would, if I said that to them, if I were able to say that to them now, they would probably say, yeah, we wanted it to be different. That was our intention. We didn't want to raise you in the way that everybody else did. And so I do think that it comes from a place of love. I think most parents want their kids to be happy and to protect them from a world that'll eat them up. And they, that looks different for different people, and people have different priorities, and people try to protect their kids from ska music too. So it
people share a towel at dinner.
People share a towel at dinner.
Out of love.
It's out of love.
It's not out of the hatred of laundry.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I guess it's just laziness. I don't know. But
yeah, I think I'm just weird. So
And then there's the other part of that too, is that sometimes people are just weird.
I remember in high school there was this guy. I kind of had a crush on him, and he was like, I could never date you. You're really weird.
Really?
And he said, but I like you. Like, I want to be friends with you.
Huh.
Then later in college, he tried to date me, and I was like, weird, huh? No, but he just said I was really weird. And so.
Interesting.
Like, some people might just be a little weird, and we don't realize it.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe. I found out much later that you were weird. It took me years to figure it out. I'm like, oh, she's just a little bit off.
Weird. Oh, okay.
Okay, that's the issue. She's just strange.
I look sort of normal.
Yeah.
So I'm rope you in.
Rope me in. You roped me in with
then
your beauty.
Expose
and then
my weird.
Oh, she's strange. No. Maybe we're all just a little bit weird.
Yep. Life's a little weird. There's a quote. That would have been a good time to use that.
What?
You're a little weird. Life's a little weird. I don't know. It's a Dr. Seuss quote. I don't read that twaddle with my kids. That's what they call it. That's
my
weird because my mom didn't read me Dr. Seuss.
My mom would never read me Dr. Seuss.
Twaddle. Thank you for listening to the Really Very Crunchy podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure you leave a review and check out our description or show notes to see what's coming up next from the Morrow fam.
Tomorrow, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, tomorrow, August 8th.
8th.
Yeah, August 8th. We are at Naturepedic in Highland Park. A mattress store. Yes, you heard that right. A mattress store.
An organic mattress store.
Oh, yeah, not just any mattress store. An organic mattress store. They're best mattress ever. They're catering. They're giving away books.
RSVP.
Yeah, I'll leave a link in the description for the RSVP. But that doesn't mean, I don't think there's limited space. Just, the first 50 people can get a free book.
Yeah, if you didn't RSVP, still come. Please.
Yes. Highland Park, Naturepedic. Just Google it. Don't use Google. Right? Never mind.
I think you could do that.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know your people's standards. Just MapQuest it, and it'll get you there. Put it in your TomTom.
That's way worse. That's like satellite, right?
Oh, okay. Highland Park, Chicago. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.